Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If you are new, which we've had a lot of new subscribers lately, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'm glad that you did. And I just want to personally welcome you to this community. And if you've been here for a while, I appreciate you coming back time and time again. So on this channel, we talk about all things homesteading, gardening, cooking from scratch, you name it, we talk about it. So we live on 77 acres of land in Tennessee. We do not have any livestock. We just have 2 dogs. We have a South African Mastiff and we have a black Labrador Retriever. You will see them in and around my videos. And so I'm married. My husband and I help to maintain this farm, but we also both work full-time jobs. I have my own HR consulting business, and my husband is in full-time ministry. We have 2 children. One's away at college, and one is, we have a 16-year-old son here at home. So if you're brand new, that's like the quick snapshot of our family and our channel. We recently started selling our produce last summer just because we had an abundance. And so we do have our farm business that we are growing called Living Foods Farm. You can go to our website. It's down in the description below. And in terms of my garden journey, this will be my 4th summer gardening. So I am still new. I am still on the journey. And I just aim to share with you what's going on my journey, the wins, the losses, the successes, the things that I'm learning, the things that I'm trying. So if that fits what you're looking for, then I invite you to subscribe and to stick around. So this video is going to be a little different because we're actually going to go back in time. So I'm doing this video at the request of many of you. I have received many questions over the last 2 years since I've been on YouTube about my high tunnel. My high tunnel was done before I got on YouTube. So I didn't have the privilege, I should say, of being able to record that and do a video on it, because by the time I started my YouTube channel, it was already done. But what I am going to do is I'm going to spend time in this video to answer your questions and also point out my high tunnel, some of the features. And so if you are looking to invest in a high tunnel, if you're looking to get one, I'm going to walk you through mine, tell you what I love about it, and give you some things to think about if you're in the market for purchasing one. And so even though mine is already up, I am going to show you footage of when it got built. So we're going to go back in time and then also be in the present day. So if that interests you, please stick around. So let's talk about my high tunnel. I love my high tunnel, right? And so when you think about a high tunnel, greenhouse, and people use those words interchangeably, I certainly do. But technically, and of course, I'll show it to you. If you're new here, you haven't seen it, but if you've been here, you've seen my high tunnel. So technically, it is a high tunnel, right? And so it's a high tunnel because of the high walls and the way it's built and the way it's structured, right? So when you use the term greenhouse, that is typically usually like a window greenhouse, a glass greenhouse. It's going to be on a much smaller scale, and they don't have the high walls, hence not a high tunnel. A lot of times greenhouses are much smaller, and people typically use greenhouses to either start seeds in or to overwinter their summer flowers, their pots, their containers, to keep them like in a more of a warm environment. They may even grow citrus in there depending on what part of the geography they're in, but that's typically a greenhouse versus a high tunnel, right? So, but again, just so that if you've heard me use the terms interchangeably, or if you've wondered why do some people call it a high tunnel versus a greenhouse, technically this is a high tunnel, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. So we got our high tunnel in October 2020. So we've had it for 3.5 years. So I started my garden journey in April 2020. I started with 4 raised beds behind my house. And if you've been around, you've seen those raised beds where it all got started. In the last 3 years, obviously I have expanded. So we started with 4 raised beds, April 2020. We got the high tunnel in October 2020. Now, we did not get a grant to get our high tunnel. There are grant options available, I think, through the NCRS and I don't know much about it, so I'm not the best person to ask. I just know that it is available and you can check your area, like your local co-op. NCRS is an acronym I've heard, as well as the Department of It's not Department of Homeland Security. It may be the Department of Agriculture. I don't know. If some of you have gotten a grant to get your hot tunnel and you know the organization that does it, then put it down below and help everybody else out, okay? But we did not get ours through a grant. We just paid for ours, right? The company that did my hot tunnel is Scenic Acres. They are in Louisville, Kentucky. Remember, I'm in Tennessee, so they do travel. It is an Amish company. So it is Amish, part of the Amish community that built the hot tunnel. I cannot rave enough about Scenic Acres and the work they did. My tunnel, like I said, it's almost, it's 3.5 years old. We have not had no issues. It is so well built. You know, tornadoes come through here. We've had high winds. We've had, you know, rain, snow. Like, we haven't had any issues. And so far, so good. So Scenic Acres, and they're in Louisville, Kentucky. And yes, they travel. When they left my property to do my tunnel, they were on their way to Michigan, right? So I don't know how far they go, but I'm figuring if they're in Kentucky and they go to Michigan, they probably go, I don't know, quite a distance. And if not them, maybe they have somebody they can refer you to, right? So I will put their name in the bio. Feel free to call if you're close or just want to see, again, what they do. Now, in terms of the cost of my greenhouse, I'm just, you know, going to be transparent. It was $10,000. That's what the cost was for this hot tunnel. So let me go through the specs. It is a 30 by 96. Right? So that's almost what, 3,000 feet of growing space. So in terms of some of the specs, I'm going to try to do the outside first because we're going to go in because it's starting to get a little chilly. So we'll try to go in and close the tunnel and talk in there so you can see the layout. But one of the things with the hot tunnel, Scenic Acres is just one option, right? That was the option I went with because I had some friends that had used them and they came highly recommended. Also, me and my husband did not have the time to build it ourselves, okay? So when you think about, man, I may not have $10,000, again, those grants can help you, right? The grants get you, you know, a hot tunnel, and I think, again, I think it depends on where you live, but I think now in my area, they're still offering grants, but they only pay for materials and not labor, or they pay for labor, not materials. I don't remember. So you still have some out-of-pocket cost versus I think before there was no out-of-pocket cost, right? But you can order kits online. You can go to Farmer's Friend. You can go to Bootstrap Farmer. You can go to Grower Solution. Those are 3 that I know of that carry hot tunnels, right? The thing about Scenic Acres that we love is that they came to us and they built my tunnel in one day. So I'm sure we paid more than if me and my husband bought a kit and did it ourselves. But if you've been watching me for some time, you know that I always say that most of the time, our decisions come down to time or money. Time or money. Either you're going to spend time or you're going to spend money. And so you have to figure out which one you have more of, right? And then you go that way. There is no judgment on whatever you pick. You pick what's best for you and your family. And at the time that we did ours, it was best for us to get somebody to build it. Right? They came and literally built it in one day. They arrived, I want to say like 7:30 a.m. in the morning, and by 5 p.m. they were pulling out and my tunnel was up and done. I'm going to show you pictures of the process. And because I took the pictures on my phone, they're time stamped, right? And so I'll be able to walk through and show you, hey, by this time they had already put this up, and by this time they had already done that. So for us, it was an amazing process. Now, let me turn you around and I want to show you some of the features. So in case you're in the market for one, think about these features and see if it will be beneficial for you. Because if you're going to get somebody like Scenic Acres to do your hot tunnel, then again, depending on what features you pick, is going to either de-escalate the price or escalate the price, right? Because some of the things I'm going to show you, you don't have to have. It's all about what you select and what you pick. Okay, so this is a side view of the tunnel. So let's first talk about the shape. So this is what they call the dome shape, if I'm not mistaken. There were two options, a dome shape and then a Gothic shape. The Gothic shape, if you look it up and Google it, it kind of has a point at the top, right? It was a little bit more expensive, and because this was my first tunnel, and I'm like, hey, you know what? It doesn't really matter to me. We chose this, right? But if you like the Gothic style look, then you certainly can. It's going to have a higher peak at the top. But that's the side view of the tunnel. And again, it is 30 wide. So across the front is 30 feet. And then it is 96 feet long. Okay? So let's talk about the other feature that I want to talk about is this double wide door. So you can see there is like what I call two ways of entry. Okay, so there's two ways of entry. So you can come through this door here and just walk through. That's an option. But we also have this big sliding door here. So it'll slide all the way like that. And obviously you can open it all the way. The reason why this was important is because we can get a tractor through here. That is super, super important when you're first building your high tunnel for many reasons. One, if you need to bring in soil or dirt or compost. For us, we built raised beds. It was very instrumental, and it's just a nice to have that you can get a tractor through here if you need one. The next feature, it has roll-up sides again. So again, if you have a greenhouse, technically like a smaller greenhouse, it's not going to have roll-up sides typically, right? It's usually made out of windows or glass or something like that. So with these roll-up slides, it's really just what it says. You can roll it up. So in the summertime, when it gets really, really hot here, and I want to make sure there's air circulation and air in here, we roll up the sides. In the summertime, both sides are up and both doors are open 24/7. Right? In the wintertime, like now, we keep the sides down for the most part, okay? So you just roll them up and roll them down. There was also another option that we didn't get, which was automatic. You can get these where it's automatic, where you can set it to where if a temperature gets to a certain area, it will automatically do it. That was more money. We didn't do it, but that is an option. If I had the money, I would have done it. Now as we walk into the tunnel, I'm walking to the back to close the back door. So this back door is pretty much the same size as the front door. We have the big open doors on the front and the back, which was an option. You don't have to do it that way, but it allows us to be able to get a tractor in on either side of the tunnel. So you can see on the inside how long 96 feet really is. You definitely can get you a workout walking back and forth from the front to the back. But like I said, it's plenty of space, and we're going to talk about now about the configuration that we chose and why. But also you can choose whatever configuration you want as you build your own high tunnel. One thing I want to add, you saw where I just closed the back door. Now the option is on this one, we have the wide doors on the front and the back. Again, that was an upgrade. A lot of people will just get a wide door on one end. We did it on both ends so that we could get the tractor on either end. That is an upgrade. You don't have to do it, but it's something I would think about. Because again, if you're going to invest the money in a high tunnel, get as much as your money will allow you to get. That's my opinion. Let me show you one other feature. You see, those are, I guess you could call it a window, so to speak. We do have this automated. So that window will open when the temperature gets to a certain point that we've told it to open. So again, it allows for more air circulation. So you have this right here, and then all the way in the back. Okay, if you can see that the same setup on the right hand side in the back, on the opposite side, so the part that's outside, there is a big fan and a big motor. So when the temperature gets to a certain level, that will open up in the back and the fan will start spinning. And then also this one will open up as well. It allows for more airflow. So we have a thermostat right there that you can see, and we have it on a certain temperature. I don't remember what the temperature is set on, but basically whatever you set it on, when it gets to that temperature, then everything's going to kick off. Okay, so those are the features. The other thing that we have is insect netting. I highly recommend the insect netting. I need to get mine replaced. My dogs tore mine up, and then some other animal literally within the first couple of months that we got the tunnel. And we just have not had the time to get it replaced. It is on our list to get replaced just because it's an eyesore, right? But hey, it is what it is. We're doing the best that we can around here. But I would encourage you to get insect netting for sure. So that way you can have your sides up. The insect netting, again, will keep insects out. That's the purpose of it. Okay, the other thing that I can't show you right now, but if you've gone to some of my previous videos, you know that we have a shade cloth that goes on the top of this on the outside. It's a black netting. You can get them in different percentages. I think ours is a 70-30. That means it allows 30% of the sunshine to come through. But right now we have the shade cloth off. But again, I highly encourage you to get a shade cloth if you live in an area that is very hot and humid like the South. So from a shade cloth perspective, this is the first year we've taken our shade cloth off. It is recommended that you take it off usually somewhere in the fall. We took ours off in October, and we will put it back on in May, because when it gets really, really hot in the summertime in here, the shade cloth is going to help protect our plants. It is already over 100, like usually 110 is the highest I've seen it in the summertime. If I did not have the shade cloth, it would easily be pushing 120, 130. Because of this plastic of the hot tunnel, it gets really, really hot in here. Now, the benefit of that is that when it's cold outside, it can be 30 degrees outside and be 70 degrees in my hot tunnel, right? Because it's well insulated and all of that. So those are some of the key features. We added string lights. You can see those string lights behind me. We added string lights after the fact so that we could work at night. In here, and not that we're in here, like at 10 o'clock at night, but when the sun is going down and we're in the middle of a project and we're trying to finish it and we need 30 more minutes, the string lights really, really come in handy. So again, that's just a personal preference if you want to do that or not. And because my husband and I, this is not our full-time job. This is a very nice hobby for me, right? I work, in my business, so I'm not out here in the daytime usually, day in and day out, because it's not my career, right? So I need a little extra light, so because a lot of times I'm coming out here late in the evening or in the afternoon. So those are some of the features. Now let me kind of tell you about the layout. So in our hot tunnel, we have 6 raised beds, 3 on one side, as you can see, and then 3 on another side, and then the rest we have in-ground gardening. We have 5 rows. Right. Now, keep in mind, this is not what we do full time. Also keep in mind, when I started this high tunnel and gardening journey, I knew I liked it by then because I wouldn't have invested the money, but it was never the idea was not to be a market gardener and sell food and go to farmers markets and all that. The reason why I bring that up is that if you were a market gardener and you came in my tunnel, the first thing you would say is that I'm losing a lot of space. Like, I am not utilizing the space of the hot tunnel. And that is true. I could grow way more food without these raised beds if it was just rows and rows of in-ground. So the point is, think about your goals and what you're doing. If I had it to do all over again, would I still do the same configuration where I am right now? Yeah, I would. One, the raised beds are much easier on your back, right? And so I could imagine that as we get older, if for some reason we couldn't keep this up, I would probably just put more raised beds down and not do the stuff in ground, right? Because it's easier on your back. I got plenty to bend my back on in this outside garden that we added in after the fact. So for me, I'm still growing a ton of food. And again, my goals is to provide food for my family, right? To preserve as much as we can, and hopefully for a whole year of whatever crop we're doing, and then we sell the excess. Those are my goals. And so for my goals, this works perfectly. But if this was my full-time job and we had to live off of what we sell, then obviously there's some more space that I need to kind of manage and prioritize here. But again, the beauty of it is your high tunnel, you can configure it however you want, right? And for the most part, I guess you could change. Like I could always add in more raised beds. Could I take away these raised beds here? Yeah, I could. Just got to, undo the wood, I guess, and get rid of the dirt and all of that good stuff. So anyway, that's kind of my high tunnel in a nutshell. Now let me show you some footage, if you want to see it, of the building process and how it all came together. I'm so glad I did this video. So nostalgic. So here is the beginning, 8 o'clock in the morning, where they're just trying to level the ground. There was a piece that wasn't level and it needed to be level for the high tunnel to sit on. So you see here they're just digging up the ground and making it level in a certain place. And the process got started. By 11 o'clock, we already had a shell of our high tunnel. You can see other pictures. They are moving. There was a group of about 6 guys that did this all together in a day. So you can see they are moving right along. This is the shot at 3:30 in the afternoon. It's pretty much up and done. They're putting on the last bit of plastic here. And then look at this side view of it all completed. And here is the front view right here. Isn't she lovely? Okay, guys, I hope that this was helpful for those of you that are dreaming of a high tunnel. It's on your list. You're about to get one and you just wanted to know, okay, what was the specs on mine and all that. I hope that this video helped you. If there's a question that you have that I did not answer, feel free to put it down below. But if you're dreaming of a high tunnel, I highly encourage you to go after and get it. And I am believing with you. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.